Hi, my name is Aaron Figueroa, and I am doing a presentation over the immigration and refugee crisis. This is from my Intro to Sociology class, Course 31, Professor Bruce Franklin. The immigration and refugee crisis in the U.S. Here in the U.S., we have a duty as human beings to take care of each other. We think of immigrants and refugees as criminals or as something negative. They are still people. That is not to say that there are still those who aren't criminals. Those people are an issue to our country. This is what we will be covering in this presentation. I chose this topic because almost everyone in my family has been an immigrant or a refugee in their lives. Without them, I would not be here today, nor would I have gotten the opportunities that I've had. It is all because of their choice to come to the U.S. What is an immigrant? An immigrant is someone who chooses to migrate to another country, usually for better opportunities in jobs and making money. Immigrants are people who migrate. People assume that immigrants and refugees are the same thing, but they're not. Immigrants choose to come or go to a certain place. Refugees are forced from their homes. What is a refugee? A refugee is someone who flees from their country or homeland due to war, violence, or any form of racial, religious, or political persecution. Natural disasters also cause groups of peoples to leave. Flooding, droughts, volcanic eruptions, and extreme cold weather can cause the destruction or lack of crops. It can also cause rivers to dry up, any form of water that those people drank, any livestock, anything that they used to survive, could all completely disappear due to natural disaster or war. Those things can cause a group of people to flee from their homeland, and they would be considered refugees. The importance of immigration awareness. We as people need to be aware of our laws. People think immigrants are criminals, but they are everyday humans like you and me. Being aware helps us to be more understanding of their situation. Knowing the situation helps us be more compassionate. Most people come to the U.S., migrate to the U.S. for a better life. The U.S. offers that. A lot of countries do not offer that. So we are so fortunate to live in the country that we do, that we don't have to go through hardships that other people do. And if we could just see a glimpse of what they go through, maybe a lot of our opinions would change of immigrants coming to the U.S. We have a very comfortable life here, and I don't see why we can't share that. Refugee crisis awareness. Being aware of the refugee crisis keeps us compassionate. It gives us a better view for what those people went through. Not to mention, they're moving to a place they have never been, where people they do not know live. Being aware gives us a different mindset to the situation. Like I said before, refugees are forced to come or go to certain countries simply because of what is going on in their country. Not only are they forced, but they are forced to go somewhere that they do not know, somewhere where they don't even know they will be able to get a job, somewhere where they may not even speak the same language. And those are just the new problems arising from the problems they already have at their homeland. So being aware of what goes on with refugees helps us be more compassionate towards them, and helps us maybe just feel for them more than our selfish mindsets normally do. Do immigrants have rights? Regardless of the immigration status, immigrants have constitutional rights. If questioned by an officer, giving their name is okay. But unless they are being detained, there is no reason to be giving any other information. If they are detained, asking for the officer's name and badge number is recommended, and asking for a lawyer is also recommended. If an officer asks to search one's vehicle, phone, or anything at all, they must have a reason to. They cannot unless they have a warrant or probable cause. But they must give a clear reason why they are searching that person. If an officer or immigration comes to one's house, they do not need to open the door. If they open the door, they are basically inviting the officer in. They should always ask for a warrant, and it can be slid under the door or through the window. But yes, immigrants have rights. Migrant population of different countries. This slide is a list of countries and what their population compared to what their population and percentages is of immigrants. Currently, the United States holds the highest number of immigrants. 15% of the United States population are immigrants. That is 50,632,836. Germany is second, with 15,762,457 people. That is 18% of Germany's population. Saudi Arabia has 13,454,842 migrants, with the percentage being higher, 38.65% of the population. Russia has 11,636,911 immigrants, 7.9% of the population. And the UK has 9,359,587 people, making up 13.79% of their population. What kind of rights do refugees have? Say you're an immigration officer working the U.S. border. A group of people come up to the border claiming that their whole village has been bombed because of a war happening nearby. By international human rights, refugee, and humanitarian law, that country is required to take those people in. We have an obligation to people who are claiming to be refugees or claiming to flee from any type of unlawful treatment. We are required to help them by humanitarian laws, and not just humanitarian laws, international laws. That means everywhere, all around the world. U.S. refugee settlement process. Refugees are required to go through a set of screenings that determine whether the refugee qualifies to be welcomed in. This is sort of background check to make sure that the refugee is not criminal and that they aren't lying about their need for resettlement. Refugees are identified in 3 different groups: Priority 1, Priority 2, and Priority 3. These next few slides, I will include a few myths about immigrants. Myth 1. Undocumented immigrants do not have rights in the U.S. Immigrants have constitutional rights. If couples question immigrant unless they were doing something wrong or unlawful, they have no need to answer any questions but their name. Myth 2. Undocumented immigrants do not pay taxes but still get benefits. This is simply not true. Though they are undocumented, the IRS established the ITIN number, or the Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, to undocumented immigrants, so they do have to pay taxes. Myth 3. Undocumented and documented immigrants represent distinct populations. Immigrants are just like everyday citizens. They have no special care or nothing. If anything, they have less care than a citizen from that same country, for obvious reasons. Myth 4. Anyone who enters the U.S. illegally is a criminal. This is just not true. Immigrants can come to a country illegally and still get their citizenship as an illegal immigrant. Of course, it is a long process in the U.S. Myth 5. Immigrants do not want to become citizens. The reason immigrants migrate to a country is with the intentions of becoming citizens. In the U.S., the process for becoming a citizen can take years. They simply just may not have the money, or they may be waiting for the government to respond. A lot of the times, the first step is to submit application. Application getting accepted can take months. And after that, you have to be able to you have to have multiple screenings, multiple interviews, and after that, then you have to be scheduled to take a test if all that gets accepted. And scheduling tests can also take multiple months, even years, just to be scheduled for a test. And you have to be studying, you have to know all these things, and if you don't pass the test, you gotta start all over again. In conclusion, we need to be more aware of the situations and the laws of our people and the people who are not, even the people who are not citizens. We are very fortunate to live in the U.S., a country with the highest migration number in the world. People come here for a better life. Why can't we share that? Thank you.